There's nothing that irks me more than suppressing speech or ideas or books or information. And that's very much why America's been successful the way it has. It's because it has had a mostly free market and the Bill of Rights, the Constitution. So why do I have a title of a show called Why Censorship Is Good? Well, I'm trying to get your attention here. Maybe you want to come in here and be angry at me and yell at me. Yeah, let's get it. That's good. We need passion. We need even anger and hatred at times because it can be used as fuel. But I'll explain why. I'll explain why. Why do I think censorship is good? Because ironically, it spreads the very ideas that are being censored. Here's a tweet I did today. And before we get to that, it is the Better Human Podcast. I'm your host, Colin. We're going to hear to help you opt out of the broken society, to build your own way of life, to promote decentralized ways of life and supply chains so that we can starve the state and its broken, corrupt, urbanized, destructive, just everything that it props up with propaganda, with lies, with deceit, with crony capitalism, crony politics, and through coercion and violence. That might sound extreme to you, but it's not. And most of you are already engaging in what Colin called the counter economy, which you'll be hearing more about that on the show moving forward. I recommend you read into agorism or agorism. It depends on who you ask, how they say it. And the New Libertarian Manifesto, which is actually free on the website. Just Google it, you'll find it. But if you don't want to opt out of society fully, or you're going to enjoy the comforts of this complex world we live in, as I do, you should at least be prepared against its inevitable demise and be set up to even be anti-fragile so that when it does happen, you'll benefit, your family will benefit, and you'll at least be safe. And most of that comes down to first your thinking. You have to first see the damn matrix to be able to pierce it. And to what level you then engage with the matrix or opt in is up to you. Today's tweet was, throughout history, government prohibition increased the market size of whatever outlawed. Gambling, alcohol, books, sex, drugs. This is why censorship is counterintuitive. It ends up spreading the ideas by bringing attention to them. So they spread outside of the censored channels. The principle here that we can pretty much establish as a first principle is that when governments go after something, they actually make it proliferate. It's kind of like that big planet in The Fifth Element. That was one of my favorite movies. They shot a bunch of nukes at it. You know, these primitive humans thinking they're so smart with their big nukes and their spaceship. And the thing got bigger and stronger and started accelerating towards them. Or the myth of the Hydra, the three-headed dragon snake thing. You cut off one of its heads and two grow back. You cut off one of its heads and two grow back. How do you kill something like that? I mean, I actually don't remember the mythology of it. I think maybe you have to kill its heart or something. I don't know, but it's just something that's really hard to fight. Something that every time you hit it, cut it, whatever, it gets stronger. That's not the opponent you want. And this is why throughout history, governments will always rise through centralization and consolidation of power. And then they will follow the steep decline to collapse. It's happening in the world today, which is why we see the craziness of 2020 and 2021. We see the elite, the governments, we see these people losing power because the internet has been sharing ideas for a long time. Counter economies have been building for a long time. Now we're even able to opt out of their money through Bitcoin, which you should. Use swan.com/Colin to get my favorite dollar cost averaging Bitcoin buying. Just set and forget it. Have a certain amount of dollars that you convert into Bitcoin every single month. And you can even set it to buy daily, which is awesome. And then just leave it. And in 5 years, you'll thank me. The powers today are gripping down on power. They're trying to convince you that we need more government and we need their protection and their help because, and maybe a lot of them don't even realize it. It's kind of one of those hidden pressures that they're probably unaware of. It's because they are losing their power. It's because we have reached peak centralization. What follows that, as we've seen throughout history moves in cycles. We're going to move into decentralization. So governments come, they grow, they get big, and then they overstep and they keep growing for their own good. They can't control it. They can't stop it. It just becomes a Frankenstein. It keeps growing. And then eventually it collapses. This is why censorship is good. Because it's only going to strengthen the small percent that are engaging with these ideas. And it's going to basically radicalize them. And they're going to be incentivized to share it more. It's going to become so part of their identity as it has mine, to the point where I was doing something else. And now my entire life is now dedicated to going to build things and share ideas that are going to accelerate the demise of the entire system. And I don't think I would have even been here. I couldn't have even been considering these ideas or these methods if it weren't for the encroaching control. I would have just probably done something else, stay in the system. I would have just grown my company, and my goal in life would have been make more money and whatever. But I'm glad this happened. I'm glad they're acting like morons. They're accelerating their demise, and they're accelerating the adoption of new ways of life. Yes, censorship is bad, but at the same time, it's good because those that are controlling it are just shooting themselves in the foot. Every single time Google or YouTube or any of these things shut down a channel or block a video or take this down or whatever, what happens? Think about this a second. This is what happens. That person shares that on that platform, maybe other platforms when they start a new channel, whatever, and then other people share it and they talk about it, and then it just spreads. This is why the printing press, which Gutenberg actually believed was going to spread and strengthen Christianity because he thought it would print more Bibles. What it did is it allowed Luther to basically call BS on it and spread his pamphlets and books. It did the exact opposite of what the intended purpose was. And that's what censorship is. That's what prohibition is. It increases the market size. It increases the scope. It spreads it. It strengthens. It radicalizes the very thing. It's why the war on terror was a joke. It just created more terror. Violence begets violence. Violence does not end violence. The show is sponsored by Organifi. Help the show, help your health. What I love about Organifi is they come in little packets that you add to water. It's super simple. In the morning, as I have here in my water bottle, I do the Restore for gut health because that's been a recurring problem for me and I'm trying to really, really bulletproof it. I do some of the coconut water powder to get some potassium electrolytes, which is something I need based on my tests from upgraded formulas. And then I add a little bit of orange juice sometimes. I definitely add some wild pink salt in there. It's awesome. It's like the new thing. I'm doing it. They have that and other products. They have turmeric, they have greens, they have a bunch of other stuff, depending on your taste preferences, what you're trying to accomplish, etc. But the quality's there because I wouldn't even recommend them or even consider recommending them if the quality wasn't there. You can support the show and your health while getting 20% off by going to Organifi.com, Organifi.com/betterhuman. And then, of course, you use that same code, BetterHuman. That'll get you 20% off. And make sure you use those products to build into your routine. It's all about your routine. Consistency, and then eating a real food diet, getting outside, exercising, doing all those things. It's all connected. You can't just buy one product or this and then take that and you're good to go. It has to be a holistic, which means a fully managed approach to your health. And if you haven't already, make sure you're on the Better Human newsletter, thebetterhuman.co. That's where we're doing the every other day. It's full of content to help you be better, live better, think better, opt out, build the life that you want, become more anti-fragile, more robust. And through that process, we will pave the way for the next epoch of human civilization. Because as we see, we're in peak decentralization. What's next is a return to decentralization. And the only way we can prevent moving again back to decentralization is by creating completely new ways of life that are not based on massively powerful corporations and governments and statists. That's it for today. I'll see you in the next one.